Greetings and salutations and welcome to the new year. My name is Artima, bringing you not League of Legends, that's a game. Illegitimate Legends, the show, where I like to talk about some of the more unusual League of Legends builds. This one we discovered completely by accident. It's a Support Ashe build. Okay. Now there's essentially two branches you can go for this, but they all start the same way. Rank your Q. Okay? Done. Easy. Focus your Q. You can also wanting to put points on your bird, your E, for probably level 2 and maybe higher levels. And then focus, your secondary focus should probably be volley because it is a main damage output, particularly when using this build. Okay, so you rank your Q, and then you sit in your supporting position, you use a bush, you set up wards, whatever it is you've got planned, and you poke the enemy, usually when you've got about a 60% crit chance from your passive. That gives you a pretty substantial poke. It won't be epic, but it will exist. And other than that, volley your opponent constantly, and just slow them so that you can kite them and effectively damage them with minimal risk to yourself. Do it to both the support and the AD carry, whoever is easiest to slow and annoy, and allow your team the most chance to damage them without risk. In terms of items, you want to be focusing on gold getters first. You want to have both the Cage's Lucky Pick, which seems like a silly idea because it's a AP item, but trust me, that money's kind of important, and you're not going to be getting the last hits for the Avarice Blade. So Cage's Lucky Pick. The other item you want to get is a Philosopher's Stone. Once you've got those and boots, you're basically set to support. You shouldn't need much in the way of wards because every 60 seconds you should have Clairvoyance and your bird to shoot out. Provides plenty of line of sight. Bring wards if you need them, but they're not massively vital. Play your support lane, slow your opponent. That's the early game. Farm whenever your AD carry's not there. If you see an opportunity to get a last hit that your AD carry is not going to be able to get in their wildest dreams, take it, because every ounce of gold is useful. Now from this point there are two ways to do it. You've got two options here. The first I like to think of as super slow support. This is a build consisting of a Frozen Mallet, Twin Shadows, and that obscure item that I keep forgetting the name of that provides a snowstorm around your target ally. With a combination of these, the entire enemy should be permanently slowed. Just all enemies will be slow, and your team can outperform them because of that. Your role in a team fight with this build is to pick out the person who doesn't have an easy method to get into the fight or an easy method to follow your team and slow him down. Some games it's their AD carry, some games it's their tank. Just make sure the enemy can't get to your team, or make sure the enemy can't run. You've got all the slows in the world, they shouldn't be able to do it. It is important to note here, Frozen Mallet will stack. Will stack with your Q. It will give you a 15% additional slow. And considering it also increases your damage output and your health by a fairly large degree, it's not a stupid item to get. It's not redundant on Ashe. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So that's one build. It suffers greatly in one area, and that's damage output. You can do probably no more than 50 damage a hit and 100 on a crit. It's not that great for hurting the enemy. It's good for assisting your team with mass amounts of slows, and of course mass amounts of line of sight as well. But that's why we came up with the alternate build. This is the double AD carry build. The idea here, play like a support Ashe. Do all your supporting roles early game, get your 2 gold getters, get your boots. But instead of building for support and slowing, build like a normal AD carry beyond that, and slowly sell off your gold getters, make your releases miracle at level 14 or 15, etc., etc., and be an incredibly late game AD carry. It will take a long time to get there because you're not farming, but the end result is that your team has 2 AD carries. Yeah, it takes a while to get there. You're expecting a 50-minute game, and you're only partly useful to your team up until that 50-minute mark. But once you reach that point, it's insane. 2 AD carries on one team will destroy the enemy. 9 times out of 10, you will win. 9 times out of 10, you will win every game. That was the sentence I had planned there. Doesn't make much sense. But trust me, Ashe can support. She can support because a slow that never ends is a very, very useful thing. A powerful slow that never ends, complete with some additional slows which do end, but are kind of insanely good. It's worth having. It's beneficial to your team, and I played some amazing games. It's a hard build, and I wouldn't consider it viable for any sort of serious play. But Ashe can be a support. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next week with more interesting and exciting builds. Thank you, and good night.
You don't build.
Screw you all! I am Timo.